Egyptian cosmology, the sun, stars, and creation. In the beginning, there was water and possibility, an endless dark ocean the Egyptians called noon. No sky, no earth, no breath between. Then, from the stillness, a mound rose, the first hill, the Bin, gleaming like the first thought before word. Upon that mound, the first light stirred. He is called Atum by some, Ra by others, and Ra-Atum when dawn and dusk are seen as one. He was the self-begotten spark, the first consciousness to name the world into being. From himself, the first light brought forth twin principles, Shu, the air that lifts and separates, and Tefnut, the moistness that softens and sustains. Their union generated the next pair, Geb, the earth with laughing valleys and bones of stone, and Nut, the infinite arch of sky jeweled with stars. Passion bound Geb and Nut, but their embrace made a world without space. So Shu stepped between them, raising the sky on his upstretched hands. The cosmos took its first deep breath. From that breath, order began. Seasons that keep their promise, the river that overflows with purpose, the day that follows night without fail. Picture it. Gib lies upon his side, green with fields and browned with rock, while above him bends Nut, her body a living meadow of stars. Shu stands upright between them like a pillar of horizon, spirit of the air, custodian of the gap that makes life possible. This is not just a picture, it is a principle. Space is mercy, separation is grace. Without distance, there is no wind, no day, no thought. With distance comes relation and rhythm. With rhythm comes time. The Egyptians felt this everywhere. They watched the sun rise as if watching creation recur. They believed Nut swallowed the sun at dusk and birthed him again at dawn. They imagined the stars traveling along the inner lanes of her body, decadal stars ticking the hours of the night like a clock that never lies. If you stand in the deep desert and look south in a moonless season, the Milky Way appears like milk spilled across black stone. For them that shining river arched with Nut, the galaxy itself traced her outline, its black rifts mapped as shadows along her belly. Astronomy became intimacy, the sky not as a ceiling, but as a body that holds you. Ra, the sun, sails across Nut's belly by day in his eastbound bark, the Manjet, the boat of millions of years. At dusk, he descends through the western gate, the Akhet, where sky kisses earth and gold becomes red. Then the second bark, the Masket, carries him beneath the world into the Duat, the realm of night, of caverns and lakes and doorways guarded by names. He travels through 12 hours of underworld regions, crewed by deities you could name like tools: Saya, perception; Hu, authoritative utterance; Heka, the charge of magic. In the 7th hour rises the serpent, Apophis, chaos incarnate, coiling to choke the river of night. The crew stands, harpoons gleam, spells are spoken, the serpent falls away, but never forever. Dawn must be earned again.
This cycle is the Egyptian heart. It is not a naive story about a ball of fire. It is a grammar of resilience. Night is never the end. Dawn always returns. Order is not given. It is maintained. Truth is not an ornament. It is a weight that keeps the ship steady. This is Ma'at. Truth, balance, proportion, reciprocity, the rightness that fits stones and souls in their places. Ma'at is not only a goddess with feathered crown. Ma'at is the law in the stars, the integrity of seasons, the ethics of breath. Even the king is lord of Maat, only insofar as he upholds this order in courts, granaries, levies, and promises. Break Ma'at and drought follows, or rebellion, or simply small dishonesties that rot a culture from within. From this cosmology, Egyptian life takes form. The farmer times his sowing to Sirius rising, a star called Sopdet, whose highly active rising announces the flood. The scribe copies spells and wisdom on papyrus made from the river's edge because words, when true, are another kind of architecture. The artisan carves stone at Karnak and paints blue ceilings with gold stars because temples are earth maps of the sky, microcosms where humans rehearse the god's work of keeping order. The king, titled Lord of Ma'at, is reminded each dawn that he is steward, not owner. If the sun needs a crew to rise, a kingdom needs clerks and masons and midwives and oarsmen who all keep time. Listen more closely to the first family of the sky. Who is the breath between things? He separates so that we may relate without devouring. Tefnut is tenderness and moisture, the lubricating mercy that keeps the world from grinding. You know both in your own life, the clear boundary that allows love to flourish and the softness that heals friction after a hard day. Geb is the body you return to, food and foothold, the smell of rain on dust. Newt is shelter and wonder, the feeling of a roof that is also infinite. Between them, a nation learned to breathe. Ra's myths carry their own hard lesson. In one story, humans plotted against him when he ruled on Earth. To punish rebellion, he sent his Eye, a goddess of terrible mercy, Hathor as Sekhmet, who became intoxicated with vengeance. Blood pooled in the streets. The cure for rage turned out to be beer dyed red to mimic blood. She drank and slept, her fury spent. The moral is sharper than it seems. Power unbalanced by compassion becomes hunger. Justice without measure destroys the very order it seeks to protect. A leader must drink the red beer of restraint or become a fire that burns his own house. The nightly journey gives a second mirror for living. Think of the duat as the terrain of your own fears, the tunnels you avoid, the names you won't say. Ra must pass through each gate by speaking the gatekeeper's true name. Knowledge is a key. He must face Apophis every single night. Courage is not a one-time victory, it is maintenance. He returns at dawn with scars and with wisdom. Renewal is not forgetting, it is integration. He rises not because the serpent is gone forever, but because the crew stands ready, because the spells are remembered, because order is chosen again. Now return to Nut, the mother who swallows the sun and births him again. She is also the keeper of the stars. Egyptian astronomer priests watched deacons, star groups that rose in sequence throughout the night to tell the hours. Timekeeping itself was embedded in the image of the goddess. Tomb ceilings show Nut painted across the stone, her belly arched, her fingertips and toes touching the four directions. For the dead, she is a coffin lid and a sky door, a promise that death is entry into a wider expanse, a reassurance that the body returns to an order that knows its name. Here is the ethical core. A heart is weighed against a feather. the feather of Mahat. Heavy hearts fall, light hearts rise. What makes a heart light? Truth spoken, even when costly, promises capped, measure in hunger and speech, care for the widow and the orphan, fair weights and honest scales. The cosmic order mirrors the civic order. The line from star to courtroom is straight. When the fields are measured fairly, when taxes are proportionate, when the riverbanks are maintained, then temples are calm and the gods smile. Religion is not escape. It is engineering with soul.
Consider how they named the sun at different hours. At dawn, he is Khepri, the scarab that rolls the disk as a beetle rolls sun-wet dung. At noon, he is Ra Horakti, hawk of the horizon, keen, incisive, unstoppable. At evening, he is Atum, old and glowing, father of fathers, wise and near to rest. One sun, many faces. One life, many phases. In youth, push. In power, watch. In age, gather and teach. Each phase has a virtue. To pretend that noon can last forever is childish. To accept the evening with gratitude is wisdom. Creation itself is a teacher. Atum creates by word and gesture, by breath and seed, by will. The metaphors vary. A sneeze for air, a spit for moisture, wordplay that links language to substance. The point is consistent. Speech makes worlds. Your words have weight. Lies bend beams. Truth aligned them. In the temples, priests recited the names of the hours to keep the bark moving through night. In your house, saying the right word at the right time can save a child, reconcile a friend, still a fury, start a dawn. Let us walk scene by scene through the 12 hours of night as a map for human courage. The first hour, descent. The sun sets. The heat softens. The bark crosses the western threshold. In life, this is every ending. The cure for panic is posture. Sit upright in shoe's breadth. Name your fear plainly. The second hour, naming. Gatekeepers ask. The crew answers with true names. In life, learn the vocabulary of your challenges. Diagnosis, debt schedule, code base, legal clause. Ignorance feeds the serpent. The third hour, companions. The boat is not empty. Sia, who, Heka, perception, speech, power. In life, cultivate clarity, articulate plans, and use your resources. Magic is disciplined attention with a sacred goal. The fourth hour, obstacles. Sandbanks, barbed ropes, black lakes. In life, setbacks gather like reeds on a current. Remove, untangle, proceed. The fifth hour, doubt. The river narrows, the crew tires. In life, watch for cynicism masquerading as wisdom. Rest without quitting. Row again. The sixth hour, union. The sun meets Osiris. Death gives counsel. In life, listen to elders and to the parts of yourself you are tempted to bury. Integrate lost stories.
The 7th hour, serpent. Apophis rises, the coil climbs. In life, this is the relapse, the lawsuit, the betrayal, the flood. Face it with help. Spirit together. Some victories require a crew. The 8th hour, repair. The hull is patched, the ropes are retied. In life, maintenance is sacred. Fix the small leak today or meet the sea tomorrow. The 9th hour, navigation. The channels fork. Choose the one that bends toward dawn. In life, choose the path that increases order in your sphere, even if it costs you brightness now. The 10th hour, memory. Spells are recited from the heart. In life, rituals matter. Morning routines, evening reviews, weekly reconciliations, they are the recitations that keep your boat straight. The 11th hour, anticipation. The horizon glows beneath the world. In life, believe that effort has consequences. Expect sunrise. Prepare your field. The 12th hour, becoming. Capri forms. The scarab rolls light into place. In life, begin again. Begin again. Begin again. Now look upward. Newt swallows not only the sun, but also streams of stars. Priests tracked certain star groups, decans, that rose every 10 days and stepped across the night like a ladder. With these, they built calendars, measured hours, and aligned temples. This is profound. The night itself contained the tools to reach the morning. If you watch carefully, the dark yields its own compass. Return to earth. Geb is not passive. He shakes, he laughs. His laughter is an earthquake. His back grows wheat and barley. His ribs are quarries. His tears are springs. In Egyptian imagination, earth is alive and responsive. Ecology is theology in plain robes. To mistreat land is to insult a god. The right relation to soil, measured irrigation, fair allotments, respectful limits becomes a devotional act. To carry Mot into the field is to harvest more than grain. You reap stability. Shu stands forever between Nut and Geb. He is the anti-collapse. He is posture, boundary, breath. If you meditate, imagine Shu lifting your ribs, creating space between your thoughts and your reactions. In arguments, his virtue is priceless. A breath before a sentence can save a city. The myth grants you an image. 2 hands holding sky from falling. Be those hands where you work. Tefnut gathers on skin and leaf. Her gift is moisture. She is the condensation that becomes morning dew, and the tenderness that becomes forgiveness. Without her, truth cuts too hard. With her, truth becomes healing. In a family, Tefnut is the tone of voice that makes correction feel like care. In a courtroom, she is equity. In a business,
She is slack enough to absorb surprise. Heat without moisture is a desert wind. Air with moisture makes rain.
Let us fold the cosmology into practice. 5 disciplines drawn from the sun's cycle that you can live today. First, make dawns predictable. The sun rises because the bark kept moving. Anchor a morning ritual that fits your life. Water, breath, movement, a page of reflection. The hardest task first. This is Kepri's hour. Scarab your day into motion. Second, guard noon from arrogance. When power peaks, widen perception. Seek dissent. Consult your Sia. Praise in public, correct in private, and act with proportion. This is Ra-Harakti's hour. Hawk-eyed, not hawk-hearted. Third, honor dusk with gratitude. Before you cross the western gate, count what held, where Ma'at stood firm. Offer thanks to your crew. This is Atum's hour. Close circles. Fourth, travel night with names. When fear rises, write the names of the problems. Speak them. Break large snakes into small segments. Allocate hours to gates. This is the Duat's practice. Gate by gate, you arrive. Fifth, rehearse rebirth. Failures are not tombs. They are compost. Design your fallback plans in the light so they are ready in the dark. Tomorrow is built at midnight. Now return to myth for delight. The Eye of Ra is not only wrath, she is also rescue. In another tale, Ra sent his eye to find Shu and Tefnut when they wandered far. The eye returned them, restoring balance. Sometimes the solution is not punishment, but reunion. Bring back what has strayed, a neglected habit, a lost friendship, an old craft. Retrieval is also power. In temple ceilings, Nut sometimes appears as a great cow. Beneath her, stars hang like bells. Pharaoh nurses from her, not as a child of privilege, but as a child of the sky, a reminder that authority is sustained by something beyond itself. In the tomb of Ramesses VI, the Book of the Day and the Book of the Night unfurl like maps, showing the sun's path across and under Nut's body. Galaxy becomes scripture. Astronomy becomes liturgy. Egyptian thought is modular. Local creation stories varied, yet they reconcile without war. Atum self-creates at Heliopolis. In Hermopolis, 8 primordial forces swirl. In Memphis, Ptah fashions the world by heart and tongue, thought and word. This plurality is a lesson in intellectual ma'at. Different metaphors, same purpose, to describe a world that demands care and rewards order with flourishing. You need not fear multiple models if they point to the same work. Keep the bark moving. Keep truth light. Keep the scales honest. What about fate? The myths never pretend that chaos can be erased. Apophis is nightly, storms come, floods fail, crops sometimes die. The promise is not avoidance. The promise is recurrence. The sun returns because a crew rose, spells are kept, and courage renews itself after fear. This is the Egyptian answer to despair. Do the work of the hour you are in. Row the 7th hour with help. Repair in the 8th. Navigate in the 9th. You are never in all 12 at once. If you want a single sentence to carry from this, choose this. Night is not the end. Dawn always returns. Say it when you close your shop. Say it when you lose a job. Say it when the test is positive, when the judge is late, when the roof leaks. Do not say it to avoid grief. Egyptians did not deny mourning. They wrapped their dead with care and spelled their way through pain. Say it to aim your prow.
Let us close by speaking to each deity in turn, as if asking for their craft. Shu, teach me to stand upright. Give me the pause that saves my words. Tefnut, moisten what has cracked. Put mercy in my tone and dew in my fields. Geb, steady my feet. Grow wheat where I labor and remind me that laughter is not a sin of the earth, but its song. Nut, arch over me. Turn my ceilings into constellations and make my endings wombs. Ra, light my noon and teach my night. Burn away the lies that make me heavy and roll me to rebirth. And Mat, feather of truth, be the standard by which I weigh my heart each dusk. Keep me proportioned and make me useful. Like the sun, we cross our skies, change our names by hour, and descend into nights we would rather avoid. Like the sun, we rise again by keeping faith with our crew, by learning names, by speaking clean words, by honoring boundaries, and by repairing the whole before it leaks. Egyptian cosmology is not a museum piece. It is a manual. It insists on a disciplined hope, a hope that works by hour and breath and gate and oar. So remember the picture. Gab resting, Nut arched, Shu lifting, Tefnut softening, Ra circling, Mat balancing, and deep beneath, a serpent that cannot be killed once, but can be defeated again and again. This is the world the Egyptians built in words, stones, and stars. This is the world you can build in your house, your street, your work. Night is never the end. Dawn always returns. Like the Nile's flood and the Milky Way's arc, the rhythm is faithful. Like the scarab's tireless push, effort matters. Like the feather that is light, character matters. Live so that when your heart is weighed, it rises like the sun over the eastern hills and speaks without shame. I have tipped my place in the order of things. I have rode my hour. I have faced the serpent, and still I rise.